There are 10 small Japanese habits that I believe can change your life. Gently, quietly. The way a single drop will change the whole still surface of a pond. Most of the world has never heard of them. Some of them are single words. Words so full of meaning that your language has no way to carry them in one breath. I grew up with all 10 of them, and I have lived by them for more than 70 years now, through the hard times and the good ones. And today, I am going to explain each one to you, simply, the way my own grandmother once explained them to me, what it means, why it works, and the small thing you can begin this very evening. Stay with me to the very end, for I have saved the most powerful one for last. The one habit that, if I had to give up the other 9 and keep only this, I would keep it without a moment's thought. The first is a word you may have heard, though few truly understand it. Ikigai. It is made of 2 ideas, life and worth, and together they mean something close to the reason you wake in the morning. Not your work, not your duty. The small, true thing that makes your life feel worth the living. For one person, it is a garden. For another, a grandchild's laugh, or a craft done well with the hands, or a friend to share tea with on a quiet Sunday. The West is forever asking, "What do you do?" as though a person were only their job. In Japan, we ask, more softly, "What makes your heart glad to rise?" And here is what I have learned across a long life. The people who keep their brightness and their strength into old age are almost never the ones with the most money or the grandest houses. They are the ones who still have a reason to get up, a small purpose that is theirs and that asks for them each morning. So tonight, ask yourself, gently and honestly, what is the small thing that makes my morning worth beginning? And if you feel you have lost it, do not despair. Only begin to look for it again. To find your Ikigai is to find the quiet thread that pulls you gladly out of bed and into your one and only life. The second is a beautiful one, and it comes to us from the old tea ceremony. Ichigo, ichie. It means, more or less, one time, one meeting. The idea is this, that every moment, every gathering, every cup of tea shared with another person happens only once, and will never come again in quite the same way. And so it is precious beyond all measuring. The same people, the same room, the same light falling through the same window, you may sit together 1,000 times, but this exact moment will come only once, and then it is gone forever. When you truly understand this, you stop waiting for your life to begin. You stop spending the whole visit with your grandchild thinking of the dishes or the telephone. You look up. You are here. I think often of the last ordinary afternoon I spent with my husband before he fell ill. A quiet day, nothing special at all, only tea and the newspaper and a little talk between us. I did not know that it was one of the last of its kind. None of us ever does. So treat this moment, this cup, this conversation, this person before you as the once-in-a-lifetime thing that it truly is. For that is exactly what it is. The third is a word that Japanese children learn almost before they can walk. Mottainai. It is hard to put into your language because it is really a feeling, a small ache deep in the chest when something that still has good use in it is wasted. The half-used notebook thrown away because a new one looked nicer. The good food left to spoil at the back of the cold box. The thing replaced not because it was broken, but only because we grew bored of it. In the West, that little pang is felt for a moment and then pushed aside. In Japan, we gave the feeling a name, and we listened to it. We were raised with it, my generation, in the lean years after the war, when there was so little that to waste anything at all felt almost like a small sin. And I will tell you what I have learned. The endless replacing of things keeps a person in a low, restless hum of always wanting more and never quite having enough. Mottainai turns you the other way, toward what is already there in your own two hands and still has life left in it. Before you throw a thing away or rush out to buy its replacement, pause and ask one small question. Can this be used once more? The empty jar becomes a vase. The worn towel becomes a cloth. And slowly, the wanting loosens its grip upon your heart. The fourth is perhaps my own favorite, now that I have grown old. Wabi-sabi. It is the finding of beauty in the things that are imperfect and worn and passing. The West chases the flawless, the new, the smooth, the symmetrical, the young, and spends a fortune trying to hide every crack and every wrinkle. Wabi-sabi sees it all quite differently. It finds the deepest beauty in the old wooden bowl worn smooth by 100 years of hands, in the moss grown soft upon a stone, in the gentle lopsidedness of a cup made by a person and not a machine, in the falling of the cherry blossom, which is the most beautiful of all things precisely because it does not last. And I will be honest with you, I did not always understand this about my own face. There was a time I mourned my wrinkles and the silver coming into my hair. But I have come to see them as wabi-sabi sees them, not as flaws to be hidden away, but as the marks of a life that was fully lived, every line a season weathered, every grey hair honestly earned. There is nothing about you that is wrong and needs hiding. The worn, the imperfect, the aging, these are not the failures of beauty. They are a deeper kind of it. Go and look for that beauty today in something old and imperfect near you. You will soon begin to find it everywhere, even, one day, in the mirror. The fifth follows close behind it, and it is, I think, the most hopeful idea that I know. Kintsugi. When a precious bowl or cup is broken in Japan, we do not always throw it away, nor do we hide the damage. Instead, there is an old craft of mending it, of joining the broken pieces back together with a lacquer mixed with gold, so that the cracks are not hidden at all, but filled with gold and made to shine. The bowl is not pretended to be unbroken. Its whole history is traced there in golden seams for anyone to see, and it is held to be more beautiful for having been broken and mended, not less. Now think what that means for a person. We all break, somewhere, across a long life. We lose someone we love. We fail. We are wounded. We carry cracks within us. and the world tells us to hide them, to pretend that we are whole and unmarked and untouched. Kintsugi tells us the very opposite, that the place where you were broken and then healed can become the most beautiful and golden part of you. Your scars are not your shame. They are your gold. The grief you have survived, the hardship you came through and out the other side, these are the golden seams of your life, and they make you more and not less. Do not hide the place where you were mended. It is the truest proof of your strength. If these old words are bringing you any comfort this morning, would you tap the little heart just below and think about staying with me by subscribing? It helps these quiet talks find their way to others who may be needing them, and it is a small kindness to an old woman. Thank you, truly. Now, let us go on. The sixth is a phrase, and it may be the warmest one on this whole list. Otsukaresama. There is no true way to say it in your language, but it means, roughly, you are tired from your effort, and I see it. In the West, you are taught to praise the result. You won, you succeeded, you reached the goal at last. Well done. But think how much of a real life is made of effort that no one ever sees and nothing ever rewards. The long week that ended just exactly where it began. The quiet care you gave that went unnoticed. The trying that did not in the end work at all. We pour ourselves into these things, and then we wonder why we sometimes feel a little invisible. Otsukaresama is the answer. Japan built right into its everyday speech. People say it to one another at the close of a working day, after a long meeting, after anything that took something out of them. It places all the weight upon the effort itself, whether or not it happened to succeed. And so, here is the habit. Today, say it to someone. Tell one tired person simply, you have worked hard. Your husband or your wife who holds so much quietly together. A friend who is carrying a heavy load in silence. And here is the part that almost everyone forgets. At the end of your own long day, say it to yourself too. Not the usual list of all the things you did not finish, but the simple, honest truth that you worked hard today. Because you did. The seventh is the one I believe this frantic modern world has the most need of. Yohaku. The blank space. In our old paintings, the artist will leave great areas of the page entirely empty. To a Western eye, it can look unfinished, as though they had run out of ink. But that emptiness is the whole point of it. It is the blank space that lets the single branch or the lone far mountain truly breathe. Take the emptiness away, fill in every corner, and there is nowhere left for the eye to rest, and the beauty simply vanishes. Now, look at the way most people live today. The day is packed from wall to wall. Every surface is covered over, and the very moment a quiet, empty minute appears, the hand reaches at once for the telephone to fill it. We have somehow decided that every space in our homes and in our hours and in our very minds must be filled with something, anything. And then we wonder why we can never quite catch our breath. Yohaku is permission to leave a space empty on purpose. So leave one thing deliberately empty this week. One shelf with nothing at all upon it. 1 hour with nothing planned and the telephone set down in another room entirely. It will feel strange at first, for we are so trained to fill every gap the instant it opens. But sit with that strangeness a little while, and on the far side of it you will find the very thing you have been quietly starving for. Room, simply, to breathe, and to think, and to be. The 8th is a word made of 4 trees, and it is the gentlest cure I know for a sickness of this modern age, the endless comparing of ourselves to everybody else. Oubaitori. It names 4 trees that blossom in the spring: the cherry, the plum, the peach, and the apricot. And the wisdom in it is this: each one blooms in its own time and in its own way, and not a single one of them is hurried or shamed for failing to blossom just like the others. The plum does not envy the cherry. The peach does not call itself a failure for blooming a little later in the season. Each one simply unfolds in its own good time. And so it is with you. Today people carry in their very pockets a little glowing window into 1,000 other lives. And they look into it, and they come away feeling themselves behind, or less, or far too slow. Oubaitori says, very gently, stop. Your life is not their life. You are blooming in your own season, at your own pace, and that is exactly as it was always meant to be. The woman who learns her letters at 80, the man who finds his true calling at 50, they are not late. They are blooming in their time. Do not measure your own spring against another's. Bloom as you and only you were made to bloom. The 9th is a word you may have heard spoken in the world of work, but its truest wisdom is for the whole of a life. Kaizen. It means simply improvement through small change, the bettering of a thing not by one great and heroic leap, but by tiny, steady steps, repeated and repeated again. And I will be honest with you, for honesty is the very heart of these talks of ours. You cannot change your whole life in a single night, and anyone who promises you that you can is, I am afraid, selling you something. The grand plan, begun on a Monday morning with great fire, and abandoned by the very next, we have all of us known it. Kaizen is the opposite of that, and it is the only thing I have ever seen truly work. One small step, so small that it feels almost like nothing at all. One page read, one short walk taken, one drawer set in order, one kind word spoken. So small that you cannot possibly fail at it, and then repeated every single day, until at last it is simply who you are. The mighty oak does not grow up in a single season. It grows a very little every year without fail for 100 years, and that, you see, is its whole secret. Choose one small thing today and make it so small that you are almost embarrassed by how easy it is, and then do it again tomorrow. That, and never the grand leap, is how a life is truly changed. And that brings me at last to the 10th, the one I asked you to stay for. If I had to give up the other 9 and keep only this is the one I would keep, without a single moment's hesitation. Naikan. It means looking within, and it is a quiet practice of reflection, and there is nothing at all to buy, and nothing even to write down. Each night, as you lie in your bed before sleep, you gently ask yourself 3 questions. What did I receive from others today? What did I give to others today? And what trouble or what difficulty did I cause to someone else today? That is all that it is. But something deep within a person begins to shift, who answers those 3 questions honestly, night after night after night. The first one makes you notice the small kindnesses that you would otherwise sail straight past. The cup of tea that someone made for you, the door that someone held, the message from a friend just quietly checking in. You begin to see that you are carried every single day by far more care than you ever knew. The second reminds you that you too gave something today, that you mattered to someone. And the third, and I will be honest, the third is the hard one. It keeps you humble and honest, but gently, without ever once tipping over into shame or the punishing of yourself. Gratitude, the wise have always known, is the very closest thing there is to a secret of a happy life. And Naikan is gratitude given a simple shape, something you can do there in the dark with your eyes already closed in under 2 short minutes. Take an ordinary day, even a hard one, and pass it through those 3 quiet questions, and watch it turn, gently, into a day in which you were cared for, and in which you gave something of yourself, and in which you faced your own edges honestly. That is why, out of all of them, it is the one that lies closest to my heart. So there are your 10 small Japanese habits, 10 little words that I believe can change the whole shape of a life. Do not try to take up all 10 of them at once. That is the surest way of all to keep none of them. Choose the one that made you pause, the one that touched some quiet thing in you as I spoke, and begin only that one tonight. Let it become a part of you before you ever add another. That, you will remember, is Kaizen. One small step, faithfully taken, and then the next. If you would like to keep all 10 of them close to you, each word written out plainly with its meaning and the small way to begin it, I have gathered them into a little handbook, linked just below for any who would care to have it. There is no need at all. Everything I have shared with you today is yours to keep freely, but it is there should you wish for it. And I would so love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, which of these 10 words touched you the most? And is there a piece of wisdom that your own grandmother once passed down to you, in your family, in your own language? I read every one and I treasure them, for that is how this old wisdom stays alive in the world, passed gently from one heart into the next. If you would like to sit with me again and share in more of these quiet old ways, do subscribe and stay a while. I am always so glad of the company. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and with this one precious life of yours. This is your Japanese grandmother Keiko, wishing you a calm and a meaningful and a peaceful life. Otsukaresama, you have worked hard today.